What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about the American economy, the recent job data, the up and coming Fed cut, and we're going to look at some altcoins. So smash a like of this video, share the video. Of course, if you're new to us, check the links in the video description and join our VIP group. Anyway, guys, no one's talking about the macro like we are. Okay, as far as any of these smaller YouTube channels are concerned, nobody is focusing on this as much as here. And I'm telling you right now, what we saw the other day in terms of the US job report, that was cataclysmic. This is the worst case scenario for Trump. And let me make a point, a very strong point here. Trump has been arrogantly pushing these tariffs, but I remember doing a report in the VIP group. And in this report, I said, the only anomaly is the tariffs. And the true meaning of my statement is and was, and it's written in some of my updates, is because of the length of the tariff discussion and how long they persist. Tariffs have never gone up, never been a major discussion in his first term. He brought them in, same thing, came in with full elbows, charging through the door, slapping tariffs on China and everywhere, got resolved, and you never heard about tariffs again. This time round, he's kept tariffs in the news agenda. He has kept tariffs hanging over the economy. And as a result, if the companies don't know what the F is going on in the direction of an economy that was otherwise performing well, he has absolutely destroyed confidence. People don't know how much to import, what to import, how much to pay things for, and therefore foreign governments are dumping US bonds. In addition to that, companies in the US are not hiring. For the first time, we've got negative, extremely negative private sector jobs creation. And we've also got the most recent level of job report in the NFP that has basically been the single worst monthly outtake on a job on the NFP forever. Like, this has been going back to a historical level, and we're now back to pandemic level territories. The economy is not doing bad. The US could be tumbling into recession is the headline, but amongst that fear, there's a huge opportunity. When you see the world's largest economy creating 22,000 jobs in the month of June, then that is a panic stations for the Fed. And of course, you're looking at macroeconomics coming out right, left, and center now saying the new data that just showed the US market just added 22,000 with the unemployment report that's also ticking up. We are now officially, as they say, America's job growth has flatlined. And of course, Mark Zandi believes that June may have been the start of recession. And I do believe, listen, it's too late. No matter what anyone says, they printed way too much and they were too aggressive in the first response to COVID. And then they became completely hawkish. And of course, now there's also that threat of the stagflation. But here's my point. Regardless of what's going on, we are crypto investors, and the macro points to a level of clarity, right? Where we at with the feelings? What's happening? What am I doing with my portfolio? Am I invested too much? Do I have enough stable coins? All of these questions will be ringing in your bell and I've got alarm bell in your heads. And this is why I make videos like this. You know, when I made the last video here 4 weeks ago, nobody paid attention. And I can play that video. I've played that 1,000 times for people because people are quick to jump at you when you're wrong. But when you're right, nobody tells you, yo, I appreciate that information because I acted up on it. That's the whole point, acting on the information. This is overall bullish for our industry. Why is that? The panic stations have already started. So we're seeing regardless of a market crash, and you have to distinguish between a crash and a correction. Correction is 10% drop, the price of Bitcoin. A crash is a 20% shot straight down. So right now, we have faced a mega resistance at this level here. You could see clearly this price. 113 is the key level that we needed to finish around this yellow box here, either above it or just in it, just to make sure that we keep the things ticking along. But of course, you can see it in the institutional order block here, and that's been tough. What makes that level scary is this is also the level where liquidity lies. So the market isn't targeting these higher levels because the concentration, it can grab liquidity from here and it can go straight down, right? That could be the possibility. But what we are seeing across the board is this, the USM2. So they have, in order to cope with all of this, they have been printing, and they've been printing significantly, and hence the reason why you don't see a total market crash on a grander scale, right? Money is being pumped into the markets. We know that because the M2 money supply on the US side has absolutely been at record-breaking pace. And we can see that because if we look over here, what we have is all-time high and price discovery for M2 money in the US. So this is the critical level, of course. We peaked here for COVID print. Quantitative QT came in right here, right? QT came in, and then we started to dive. And of course, this was the bottom of the bear market. These were the tough, post 19,000 Bitcoin levels. But as of the, when was it? As of the 1st of March, around about the time of the Trump inaugurations, we've broken out into USM2. You got to pay attention to this one because this is the real key to domestic US printing, right? That's happening. And then, of course, if you look at inflation over the significant period of time, you would see the picture is quite different here. Since the 1920s, like right now, the average inflation, the real true inflation could actually be potentially even worse. But what we're seeing here is inflation has peaked these 2021 months. And that's why we had a bear market. You know, these things in 2022, it's not rocket science to understand where this peaked and how we absolutely came out with a bear market at that time. And you could simply follow these macro charts and understand the tops and the lows of a cycle. So DXB, what the hell is going on from here, right? What do we do? So here's the thing. I am not afraid of what's going on right now, because if you're looking at the yields as well, which are facing a lot of pressure, this is a great time to bring whatever USDT you can mine, do a double shift, triple shift, whatever you can do. It's time for security, right, guys? It's time to put some money into the markets as the markets become more and more fearful. So the total 3, which governs our portfolios, is currently sitting at $1.04 trillion. There is an absolute bull flag there. We break to the upside, should really get this thing to about $1.5 trillion. This is our target for all season, right? So that's one. You could see the pattern here has played out in similar times, and we can actually see this pattern here from early June. We've risen, we've dropped, and now we're kind of like testing this trend line. So that's one. Number 2 is look at us. So we've looked at the money supply. We've looked at let's have a look at the BTC dominance. And you can clearly see the last 5 days, we've had a start. We had a resurgence, but this is a weak move, guys. Don't fall for this. It's facing resistance in many, many different levels. And there you go. There's the smoking gun here. We may come back to 58.75%, but this is a major resistance to clear. And of course, on the daily, at the moment, it's looking rather strong. And if it has to go on the daily, we don't face resistance until 64%. So you could see a scenario where as your alts and prices tumble across the board, we could be attempting one last time to try and claim this level for Bitcoin dominance. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you all. That is that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a 4-year-old crazy uptrend on the Bitcoin dominance that has broken trend. So of course, any attempts to get back trend should be rejected. But at the same time, it is possible that may happen. Okay, so now you understand that this is the macro. We know that there's a recession talk. We know things are not easy. We know America's employment situation has hastened the Fed. And we know for sure the Federal Reserve is going to meet in 11 days. And before that, we have the last of our 4 macro reports, which is the CPI. Clear, done, dusted. Now, let's go back to altcoins. Okay, we want to know what altcoins we should be eyeing. And I'm telling you now, of course, everybody has a different taste, but what really should govern your investment strategy is, first of all, control the greed, right? This is not time for 100x opportunities all over the place. Okay, let's have a look at some of the bigger projects, and let's have a look at some of the smaller projects that should be able to do very well in your portfolio in the coming days, weeks, and months. Because no doubt at some point, all of this shit will be over and you will be in a position of strength, of course, kicking yourself why you never took advantage of those low market, those times when the market was really, really down and almost out. Okay, so we'll look at a couple of projects and then we'll go back to some more charts and then I'll say goodbye to you. Okay, so let's have a look at these. What are we looking at here, guys? So let's have a look at World Liberty Financial. And in my opinion, this has been an absolute, there's a huge debacle. And because of this valuation, what I said to people is this is going to be, keep your eyes out after the news between Justin Sun and the Trumps. So people want to carry favor with the Trump family. The Trump family knows that they have this term to do, like, basically make generational wealth. Okay. And the kids are going to rig this shit. And of course, this whole news about Justin Sun and what's happened with the whole entire 100 million that he invested in, that's all bullshit. In my opinion, the smoking gun is no one man can suppress this. And right now, with the trading volume of 600 billion, this doesn't, for me, make sense to risk it because this has a 90+% holder concentration. Okay, so that makes the risk. But what this is, this token, World Liberty Financial, you can do you can play this 2 ways. You could either get projects that are linked, okay, linked to WLFI, of course, or you can absolutely go for option number 2, which is a trade option. Okay, trade. So these are the possibilities, and that is a leverage trade on this one. Not financial advice, of course, but you can make up your own mind. But due to the size and the circulation, for me, this is not a spot hole of any, retail get absolutely mashed up every time they do this. So skip that. That's a nonsense. Okay, let's have a look at a good solid projects. Now, Aptos is a very disappointing project. Aptos has had bad tokenomics, but the trading volume is not bad at all. And of course, circulating supply has improved after the last major unlock. This is a $2 to $3 billion project. But what you got to look at professionally is the number of times Aptos has bottomed. Okay. And all of that means Aptos will have one last push. If you wanted to buy Aptos, I think knowing the risks, this has been a terrible performer of 2025, but they are working on stable coins. So I'd rather give you the straight answer for Aptos. I think Aptos is a relatively good buy for 5 to 10x possibilities, right? So 5 to 10, we can score this 5 out of 10 anyway, but 10x is possible. Aptos can absolutely do $40. It has previously done so, I think, topping here around that $30 mark, $20, $30 range. So it can double. So that could be one to look at. Now, next one is SUI. And I do believe this is one of the best charts in cryptocurrency right now. Okay, so this should go up. I do believe the price is still relatively high. Right now, the market cap is also relatively high. It had a massive run, but I do believe a 10x could be a stretch now from here, because that would mean 33.8. And I do believe this token is more closer to the $20 level. And I'm sorry, I know it's not giving you the X's that you want to hear from someone who's so bullish, but I do believe a $20 target is very realistic for SUI. SUI gets a massive check mark. And of course, SUI becomes, for me, the next Solana for next cycle. Okay. So this is Solana's replacement in the long term. I do believe this does very well. And you can already see, you know, this is done 3x in the last 12 months. So it gets a check. Okay. But it is, I mean, $20 from our local entry of average 72 cents, 0.72. So that's not bad at all, right? That is a good amount of return. But, you know, of course, could it do a clean 10x from here? Potentially, but I'd probably say 5 to 7x for sure. Okay. We talked about World Liberty Financial. Now let's go to Arweave. I have no idea why Arweave has just stagnated. And this is a chart of great interest because these are bear market prices. This is the peak around that $80 mark. You could see there. Arweave, to be honest, I mean, listen, 10x would be 4 billion, right? 10x would be 4 billion. But what's beautiful here is the market cap is fully diluted, okay? And of course, tokenomics are unbelievable. And the trading volume, albeit low, the yearly performance has been fairly disappointing, which means this equals to a huge op, right? This is an opportunity to go absolutely 10 to 20 times your money. I do genuinely believe that. Even if you finish somewhere in between, I do believe Aptos offers a very good isometrical. It's not the most well-marketed project, in my opinion, but it does offer you a very clean setup, big exchanges, fantastic founder, fully diluted, third cycle project. I mean, what more could you want? And then we have SEI. Now, SEI is a very, very interesting one, right? SEI has performed relatively poorly, has been consolidating in the 0.28 cents region now for a few months. And SEI has some of the best backing. So SEI is only up 7%. So you have not missed the bus at all. Therefore, you are early, right? You are super early on SEI because SEI has not done. When SEI did this peak here, SEI's TVL at the time was just $25 million. You could go and check up on Doom Analytics, 25 million, and it did all-time high. Okay, so if you're looking for a big cap with backings, good backings, and let the price look, if the price comes down a bit more, so be it. You've got decent trading volume, of course. You've got tokenomics are not bad at all. I think the unlocks coincide heavily with the next bear market. I do believe SEI at this price has found a local bottom. However, we could come back to this range. But to be honest, I mean, I'd say right now, does it really matter? Just DCA, SEI is another good one that you could be looking at. All right. So these are a few that I'm giving you right now. And then we move to decentralized AI. Now, you've got to understand one thing about TAO. The issue people don't have or people have with TAO is just fully understanding. But this is like buying Bitcoin, in my opinion. So BTC, right, changed money. TAO is going to change AI. I think this is This is going to be one that is excellent in the long term. 5-10 years from now, you know, when you have the valuations of 4 trillion of these Nvidia, and you got friggin' two shareholders owning 90% of the company, decentralized AI is going to be sexy. And you've got Bitcoin tokenomics with halvings, right? So you've got halving events, or HE as I like to call them. In addition to that, look at this, 9.7 circulating, maximum 21 million. Very good volume. And of course, market cap is 3 billion. 10x will put this at a 30 billion market cap. I'm going to go one extra. TAO in the next 5-10 years should be ranked around, should be valued around that $300 billion, right? So whichever way you want to look at this, in a long term, if you take a long-term vision, you will be an OG TAO legend, in my opinion. 2030, probably about there, TAO's price should be absolutely astronomical. This cycle, we could see 5 to 10,000, sorry, 3 to 5,000. Next cycle, we could absolutely see 10 to about 50,000 for TAO. I genuinely mean it, because it becomes more scarce. And as it becomes more scarce, TAO becomes more and more relevant. So what I'm telling you, recession or not, you know, take advantage of the market. There is crazy things happening right now, guys. But the only people sweating is people holding 100% of their portfolio in meme coins. And that's going to be a problem you're going to have to answer when you make your when you meet your maker. Otherwise, we've done everything we can. So get out of here. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. God bless you all and see you soon.